Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Deja Vu here, and after several months of no StarCraft Brood War to watch at all, we finally have Pro League back, and it is going to be amazing. We still have Pro League, as all the worry that was going on over the off-season, it's all unfounded. We have 8 teams here, and we are going to have a Pro League season once again, and it is going to be awesome. Brand new maps, lots of player movement and teams getting combined, all sorts of stuff going on. It was one of the most hectic off-seasons ever. Actually, I think it's the most hectic off-season ever. I don't know how you could keep all of that organized in your head, but there was so much stuff that happened this off season, and so much controversy and concern. But we're back, and we've got Pro League, and this is actually a series from the very first night of the Pro League season, the second game. This is going to be KT Rolster, the Pro League champs from last season, and Air Force Ace. So this should be pretty fun, and I didn't cast the first game, which was SKT, the silver medalist from last year, losing to KT Rolster, and the Dream Team, Team 8, which is basically an amalgamation of Wasing Oz, We Made Fox, and NBC Game Hero. A bunch of those players came together. Some of the other players got distributed to other teams, and a lot of players actually, unfortunately, retired, most notably of which I would say is Haya, probably the best player who essentially retired due to that. So no more Haya in Pro League, but the other players kind of combined to form Team 8, or as I call it, the Dream Team, or as many people call it, the Dream Team. And you can imagine how strong that team potentially could be. But I'm not going to spoil those results for you, let you watch that. I think Sale casted those. But this is going to be KT versus Ace, and this map is Outlier. The Protosses are Stats and M18M. So Stats in the lower left-hand corner in yellow for KT Rolster, and M18M at the 12 o'clock position in purple for Air Force Ace. So Air Force Ace has some additions as well, and they include Great from Samsung Khan, who did not play much at all at the end of last season, curiously enough. Apparently he was looking poor in practice, and he just wanted to allow the rest of the players on Samsung Con to play more. So Great comes over to Air Force Ace, and also from STX Seoul, Cal, actually, another player who slumped hard last season, is going to be an Air Force Ace, and hopefully, as a Cal fan and STX fan, a resurgent Cal would be pretty awesome to see. That would just make my day, because I love Cal, and I think he's a really fun player to watch, so that would be great if he can make a comeback. But this game on Outlier, it kind of looks a little bit like Outsider. You get there's a lot of bases on the outer ring of the map, separated by neutral temples. I think there's 2 that you can break down and get to other bases, and you can also expand into the middle as well, kind of similar to Outsider, but the difference being that on this map, Outlier, the middle of the map has these 3 outposts, basically. There's like mineral patches that are blocking them, but there are 3 ridge grounds in the middle of the map, and you can kind of see in the middle of the map, if you look, you can see 2 of them closer to the 12 o'clock position and kind of close to the bottom right, which is the other spawn point. You can see those little mineral patches. Those actually lead into these high ground areas that could actually be very dominating positions if you can force a fight in the middle near those locations. So it's kind of interesting to see how players will go with this. I think if you see Terran players, a Terran on this map would probably go for those middle ground and try and dominate the middle of the map, and I think the other races will probably play more to the exterior. But we'll see if that actually plays out this way. We do have a second gate coming in here from M18M, and no second gate from Stats as of yet. He is just researching speed. Look how long it's been. It's been 3 months, and I think speed comes from Cybernetics Core. Obviously, that's Dragoon range, but yeah, and M18M is just scouting out, and you will see a lot of pylons being placed near those the Zelnaga temples on either side, just to make sure that there's no shenanigans going on, no tricks that could happen. And that's another thing. A lot of these new maps, all of the maps are new. None of the maps are held over from last season. So Fighting Spirit is gone, Circuit Breaker is gone, all of them, everything, Empire of the Sun, nothing will be seen again. But a lot of the maps are thematically similar to old maps, so they won't be completely unfamiliar to you in playstyle, but they do add some interesting twists. And we actually have 4 gates coming in from M18M, so he's going to go with a 4-gate goon pressure, and this is actually a pretty cool idea, I think, on M18M's part. These maps do feature reverse ramps, so if you can dominate the top of your opponent's ramp, the game is, if you get into a really dominating position, you can really do whatever you want. So that's going to be the strategy here, is going to try and get take control of the middle of the map, put some pressure on Stats, and try and dominate the top of his ramp, and just simply get basically a contained win, which is really, really strong on maps with a reverse ramp. On the other hand, Stats, who played fantastically last year as second fiddle to Flash, and probably had the best Winners League season ever of any player ever. I think he had 3 all-kills, 2 3-kills. It was just ridiculous. But Stats played amazingly throughout the year, but particularly in Winners League, he was just absolutely ridiculous. And he's actually going with 2-gate Robo here. Should be putting down a robotics support bay. I don't think he's going to go Observers first, but we'll see. I don't think he... M18M doesn't usually go with shenanigans. And yeah, there we go. We do see the support bay and the observatory going down, so he'll get the Reaver started up first and then get the Observer afterwards. Which is really good, because if he had gone Observer first, this could be game over. That Reaver would probably be just so late by minutes, basically, in order to do anything. And it looks like M18M actually looking to push out right here. Stats has the first ridge, and actually doing a really good job of holding back M18M at this point. If he can actually force M18M to throw away a lot of Dragoons here, he could actually be in pretty decent shape here. And M18M is going to force his way across this ramp, not going to try and go around the side path, is going to force his way up, and he simply has more Dragoons, so he's going to be able to do so, but he definitely absorbs several more losses than Stats in there, and his Dragoon count looks a little bit low. Look at that, just the 4 Dragoons, and Stats actually basically keeping pace with just his 2 gateways as of now, as of this moment. So M18M needs to regather his forces here a little bit, regroup, and then push back in, and that's what looks like what he's trying to do. Maybe wait for another round of Dragoons before he can push in, but the Reaver is out for Stats now, so now we're going to see a little micro war here, and it's going to be really, really important for M18M to get a really nice arc with his Dragoons, get some good spacing, try and pick off that shuttle and that Reaver, and that's what he tries to do there, but he takes a lot of shots on his Dragoons and does not manage to take out the Reaver. Did get some shots on it, but does not take it out. Stats able to micro it back into the shuttle, and now is actually pushing forward with his Dragoon and shuttle Reaver combination right now, and picking off a Dragoon from M18M. M18M sending some of his forces off on one of those side paths towards the middle of the map, and actually has the potential to do a pincer here, but where are his forces? Where's Dragoons going? They're like getting split up, and M18... I don't know what that was. I think that's just rust. That is unfortunate. That is just rust. I thought he was looking to get a little pincer move there. As soon as Stats actually went into Stats was basically in this little bowl, and M18M had a few Dragoons on top of the ramp on one side. If he brought all those Dragoons back from the back ramp, which is what I think he wanted to do, that could have been really, really cool. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to make that happen, but he does choose to engage here. He gets a nice concave going on, but he's unable to get the Reaver. He does pick off the shuttle. The Reaver still getting shots off. It looks about the Dragoon count. It's just it's pretty even right now, but that Reaver could make the difference. The Reaver does go down. A couple more Dragoons coming in for M18M, and it looks like M18M will take the field here. Yes, he will. He will take the field with a couple Dragoons and advantage, but the tech advantage still goes to Stats at this moment. As he gets his next Reaver out, he should be in decent shape. Stats actually trying to take his natural expansion. This is pretty risky, and he actually just canceled it right there, realizing that there's too many Dragoons coming his way. So M18M is going to get really aggressive here, going to try and force his way down the ramp before that Reaver comes out. If that Reaver pops soon, M18M will really struggle to get down that ramp, but looks like... Will M18M go for it? Yes, he will. He does get down the ramp, bringing in reinforcing Dragoons as well, and he is going to try and pick off most of these reinforcing Dragoons. Stats brings probes off the line to try and hold this off. These probes are actually doing a pretty good job, and the Reaver comes out. M18M is going to be forced to retreat here. That Reaver is going to do too much damage for these weakened, very, very weakened Dragoons to really do much of anything. And M18M looks like he actually has a couple Dragoons still hanging out in the back, and what that's going to do is that's just going to harass some mining and things. He can't get those Dragoons out. The Reaver's just too well positioned near that ramp, so he's just trying to do whatever damage he can. I'm trying to see if maybe, just maybe, he can pick off a Dragoon, but unable to do so there, I don't believe. No, he's not going to be able to get a Dragoon. And another Dragoon for M18M actually wandering into the base. I think he has some misrallied gateways, so this is actually going to hurt him. There he goes, loses another Dragoon, so M18M showing some sloppy play here. Just, I feel like it's just rust from not playing a whole lot, and from the overall... what happens, I don't know what to call it, the overall tendency of ace players just to get a little bit sloppy at times, just from the fact that they only practice like a quarter of the time that the rest of the players do. They just get a little rusty sometimes, and I think that's exactly what we saw there. Just some misrallied gateways and bleeding some Dragoons, unfortunately, which is really, really painful in this kind of situation where you go 4-gate Goon, you need every single Goon advantage you can get. And wandering in another Dragoon here, M18M, and he's going to lose another Dragoon. Look at that. So some really sloppy play from M18M, and the observers for Stats doing a great job here. They're getting opening up vision for those scarabs to go off, and granted that is kind of a loss of money, but it also leaves M18M very scared. He's got to be really careful with his Dragoons as well. The other observer for Stats is inside of M18M's base, seeing everything, seeing that there's basically no tech, there's no citadel, no robotics facility, no anything going on here. And Stats actually got an a probe to the 6 o'clock position, and he's going to set up for a base at that location. And I don't think M18M has any idea this is coming. There's no shuttle, and so it's going to be almost impossible for M18M to get over there. So this is actually an extremely safe expand for Stats there. And Stats pushing out with the shuttle there, had to be a little bit careful. Took a couple hits on it from Dragoons, but he's going to be okay. And that Nexus that Stats is about to place, maybe gonna place it down probably pretty soon, is going to be really safe. It looks like it's not safe, but it totally is. And another scarab goes off. M18M, just taking hits here and there. I mean, he needs to take those front 2 Dragoons, the one in the red and one in the yellow, and put them in the back of his group. But you know, it's just a sloppy play here, and against a player of Stats caliber, you can't have this kind of sloppy play and expect to come away with a victory here. And another scarab, like, I don't even know what M18M is trying to do there. I think he's trying to, I can't even guess, because if he's trying to like bleed scarab shots off, he'd just be sending 1 Dragoon in and trying to bring it back. But I'm not really sure what he's trying to do there, but it's not working, and yeah, it's pretty unfortunate. And M18M looked like he was maybe trying to hop the minerals there at the top right, or just trying to mine it out to go take a base at the top right corner. He's not going to be able to do that, and he just really needs some tech going on here. And another, look at this, just M18M bleeding so many Dragoons. And here comes a shuttle coming out here, probably with the 3rd Reaver, and it's got speed as well, so he's going to try and do some harassment. And M18M right now has no idea this is coming down. He does put down his natural Nexus. His Nexus will be significantly later than Stats, but the difference being that he can actually Maynard to this location, whereas I don't believe Stats will be able to unless he is able to mine out that back first. And M18M did get a glance at that shuttle as it comes in, but the observer for Stats is actually going to let Stats be really careful with the shuttle and let him know exactly where the Dragoons are, so he can actually dart in and out however he feels like, and relatively safely here. And he does drop a Reaver. Is there another Reaver in there? I would highly doubt that he had time to build a 4th Reaver. No 4th Reaver. But M18M just being pretty careful here. A Reaver with a shuttle and some good micro can really take on a decent number of Dragoons, particularly when you have observer sight vision. Ooh, shuttle almost taking more hits, loses all of his shields essentially. But you can actually do a lot of damage with shuttle Reaver combo, especially near a cliff against Dragoons. It's really powerful. And what else have we got going on here? We have M18M with a probe at the top left. I don't believe Stats saw it. No, I don't believe Stats saw it, otherwise he would have knocked it off. But M18M looking to take another base, since I believe he canceled that natural. Did he cancel the natural? I don't think he had to, but I think he might have. Looking at the map, no, never mind, it's still there. So he still has that natural expansion, and that's going to be really important for him to keep up. Stats is getting up his second assimilator as well, so his tech is going to be going pretty strong here. And at some point, Stats, the fact that he has all this tech is just going to rip M18M to shreds. The fact that he has the Reavers, the fact that he's going to have the stronger economy, more gas units, probably could even see Storm pretty soon. No, we actually don't see a Citadel or anything like that, but just more Reavers and shuttles and observers, and all the information gathering that he's getting right now is just so huge for him. M18M finally getting a robotics facility, but it's still going to be some time before he can get that. And I believe that that's 3 Reavers in those 2 shuttles combined. I believe that's 3 Reavers, and then the 1 Reaver still at home just to make sure that M18M doesn't try and like bust down the ramp or anything like that. And yes, 3 Reavers and 2 Zealots. And here comes Stats, is going to try and bust out here with all those Reavers doing tons and tons of damage, and the Dragoons coming up the ramp as well. But M18M actually responding pretty well here, and actually going straight for the Reavers, picks off 2 of them, and then he's going to retreat. So he picks off 2 of the 3 Reavers, but he is going to be forced to retreat here. I think he lost a lot of Dragoons, but a lot of his Dragoons he'd already pulled back as well. Lost about a half dozen Dragoons or so, I would say, for M18M, but he pulled back a lot of Dragoons already to his natural expansion in a defensive posture. So he didn't lose as many as he could have there too. A very nicely played pincer attack there by Stats. M18M is splitting up his Dragoons, setting some of them off to the right side to try and set himself up for a nice double concave if Stats pushed in. But I think Stats saw it. He's got all those observers laying around, so when those Dragoons didn't come straight home, I think Stats had a good idea of where they were going. So, unfortunately for M18, I'm not able to to catch Stats in that position. And M18M does know about that nexus at the bottom of the map. I'm not sure if you guys saw it, but there was a probe down there that did get down there. It wasn't eventually blown up by Dragoons, but he did see it, so he knows that he's probably about even on bases and probably slightly behind. So he knows the situation right now, and that he's in a bad one. That's for sure. He definitely knows that he's in a bad situation, and he's just trying to bide time for his tech to kick in. Once that robotics facility kicks in, he can start getting some reavers of his own. In order to combat all the reavers of Stats. And Stats probably coming back in here with 2 or 3 more reavers, and we'll see what they're able to do. And it looks like Stats does want engagement, and he's absolutely right, he does. That is 4 reavers, not 2, not 3, that is 4 reavers. So M18M in full retreat, but he's got to be careful. He might be backing himself up into a little bit of a wall here. He needs to leave himself an avenue of escape, and he's actually going to charge for here. If he can split up his Dragoon shots, he could pick off a ton of these reavers right off the bat. Looks like he picked off one of the shuttles. Looks like 2 of the reavers are down. I'm sorry, only 1 of the reavers is down, and Stats with some impeccable micro. That was absolutely brilliant. M18M came in there, and I thought that if he split up those Dragoon shots, he could have picked off reaver after reaver, and Stats just picked them up, dropped them back down, and saved so many of them. And that is going to be the defining play of this game. Stats is going to win this, barring some miracle from M18M. That was fantastic. That was just awesome from Stats. That was brilliant. That was just great. For a first game of the season, I don't know if I wasn't exactly expecting some that awesome of play, but that was really nice. Reaver shuttle micro there, and Stats just bull rushing his way in right now with his Dragoons, destroying everything. M18M forced to GG, and KT Rolster takes their first win of the season and goes up in the series 1-0 on Air Force Ace. So that was actually a pretty entertaining game there. M18M just unfortunately bleeding Dragoons left and right, and that cost him throughout the game. Really stopped him from keeping up a lot of pressure, and then let Stats be a lot more comfortable. And if you didn't notice, that is Stats, and he does no longer the chin toss. Apparently his chin, the size of his chin, was actually obstructing like his chewing and was causing him some like teeth problems or jaw problems, so they actually did surgery, so he no longer is the chin toss, and now he looks like that. So that is that. But we're going to move on to the second set of KT Rolster versus Air Force Ace. I'll see you guys all there.